So I want to go over these questions that have come up recently, um, and just kind of like talk about my experience with some of these things that have popped up these past couple weeks. So let me go over. A lot of these are kind of business strategies, kind of photographer questions that you guys are struggling with, that I've been seeing. So hopefully this will help and get you on the right path in your business. So the first question I've had: what's the number one mistake photographers are making when trying to grow their business? I kind of feel like this comes up a lot. They don't know what they're doing wrong, which we all kind of start in that light. So I think there's a couple things, especially when I was newer, that I did that I would change going forward. So first is like you kind of have to focus on the value that you give. You got to learn your craft and focus on the value that you're giving to clients, because that's where you become valuable, right? It's not like hustling to get more clients. I mean, if you did that and you got clients, like it would be good because you would get the practice, and we all need practice because we have to get to 10,000 hours. So I would say that is super important, but I think you have to learn your craft, and instead of hustling harder, finding the right clients, elevating your photography and positioning your mindset to like believe that you can attract higher paying clients, and become a premium brand versus just another photographer that does shoot and burn, right? You have to kind of set yourself apart from the competition. And I think that is a lot of what photographers do wrong. Also, I think that they compare themselves to other people. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different style. So clients are going to resonate with your style and who you are versus like somebody else. Maybe like, for example, the high maintenance client probably would not want to hire me just because I'm not high maintenance. I'm more the kind of down to earth, get the job done, do it with a smile, have fun doing it. And yeah, so that is something I think that photographers often go wrong with when trying to build their business: comparison, hustling to get more and more business, not niching, which can actually lead us into the next question. I feel like oftentimes photographers will like basically try all kinds of niches, which you have to do, I think, sometimes in the beginning. And they just do a ton of different things, and they negate niching down and how it can really, completely change your business. So it can actually make you more money in the long run, which is what we want, right? We want to get paid for our craft. So the importance of niching is just, there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about this, because I had one question come up and they're like, the photographer is doing all kinds of different types of photography. And so when you do that, yes, you're practicing and you're learning what you like and what you could be good at and what vibes with you. But the problem is like you're kind of spreading yourself all over and you get distracted. So you're not focusing. And when you focus, you produce better results, right? So when you niche, you become the expert. And just a quick side note, if you guys have questions, just type them in the chat. I'm just kind of going over questions that have come up in the recent weeks of my talks that I've done and what I think could help you guys in the long run. So we're talking about niching and how that kind of diminishes when you niche, your energy being spread thin. And what I mean by that is like different pricing rates, like you don't know what rates to like, send to them. You have to figure out what rate would be, sufficient for that particular photo shoot, right? So it just gets your brain like really spread thin. But when you niche down into one genre of photography, you basically know exactly what the client's gonna, the price range the client's going to be in. You know exactly how to talk about that particular thing or genre, and you can become the expert in it, right? So all of those things create like a luxury experience for the client because they are wanting something done. And if you come off as expert and know exactly what to charge and what to give and how the sequence of events goes, you're just going to create a better connection. The client's going to trust you more, and they're just going to see you as an expert. And by luxury, it doesn't mean you have to charge like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. You just have to be within reason and what you feel comfortable with, and know exactly what you're talking about. Be communicative, be responsive, and just have the right packaging and excuse me, and just know how to answer their questions, because that's all part of the luxury experience. It's not just like really pretty packaging, right? You have to kind of know all of the things. And so when you do that stuff, clients will trust in you and they will want to work with you. So I think a lot of newer photographers, or even photographers that are out there, working day in and day out right now, I think they negate the fact that niching can really, really benefit their business. I mean, you don't have to not do a portrait session or a corporate event like I do. I'm doing 2 this month. So I still do them. I just don't do them primarily. So I would say like 95% of my business is probably bar mitzvahs. And once I decided to do that, I got constant referrals, became the known expert in the niche. And I just always have inquiries coming in, and they're always really warm inquiries. I just got one today, and it was a referral from a client. So when you do that, that's what will happen when you niche in any genre. I mean, I'm sure even in weddings, like weddings are just slightly different because bar and bat mitzvahs, it's like a community-based thing, and they all talk, and the moms all know each other, and there's classes every single year. So you're guaranteed, even though you're guaranteed weddings every year, obviously, but you kind of have to be on the vendor list. You have to kind of be in with event planners. I am on those lists for bar and bat mitzvahs, and I'm in with the planners, a handful of them, but I still get a ton of referrals from clients. So that is why I think you should not sleep on niching, right? Okay, so another question that's come up, I wrote all these down. This is another thing. Photographers, they get super busy and they're not as profitable as they want to be, right? So I feel like they're kind of confusing activity with income producing action. So you are out there like, trying to get business, but you're like posting, you're doing all those things, but they're not necessarily income producing activities, right? And you're editing endlessly, chasing leads and underpricing. That's a big thing. And I've suffered it too. Like I've obviously had these same challenges myself, but I got over them. To say the least. So, yeah, don't chase leads and don't undercut yourself, because there's going to be someone that will pay your rate. I promise. You've got to do the 80-20 rule. You've got to focus on the tasks that create 80% of your revenue, like selling, marketing, networking, and working on your mindset, because profit comes from intention, not busyness. So, that's my advice, is just whatever is producing income generating things for you, like keep doing it. For me, that is like photographing. I feel like when I photograph bar mitzvahs, it's literally like paid marketing. So I'm out there. One-on-one. I'm out there working and networking at the same time, like having fun, meeting people, making clients happy. And so then they just love working with me, and they will like obviously refer me, like you give them the client experience. But posting on social media is not necessarily, it's like an activity, but it's not like an income producing activity. Like you want to be out there meeting clients and getting to know them, getting to know event planners, even advertising, if you wanted to do advertising, I actually haven't, but I've considered doing a couple different advertising avenues to specific venues. I haven't done it yet, but it's on my list of to-dos, just to kind of like get more in with like synagogues and temples that I want to be at. So you could do that. Those would be income producing activities. But I think a lot of us do things that aren't actually income generating activities. So definitely think about what brings the money in and start doing more of that. So let's see, what's another question that comes up? Okay. How do you raise your prices without losing clients? This came up and I thought it was kind of interesting because it's really like mindset. And we all go through it. Like, obviously, I even do it. I have hiccups with my pricing. Sometimes I'm like, oh, will that push me into the upper echelon? But honestly, it's really just comes down to a mindset. Like, it's not even something like I would just see yourself and see what you're worthy of and like charge that. Like, obviously there's a minimum that you should be charging and don't go below that. But you've got to like you got to work on your mindset. You have to raise your value perception before you raise the number. So like you have to believe you're worthy of like the $3,000 or $5,000 client and not worthy of the $1,000 whatever. I don't know, $1,000. Cause like for me, like, I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it for less than, I don't want to get out of my house unless I'm making like $600 an hour. So I've just come to that point now where I'm like, that's my minimum and that's what I want. And they're either going to pay it or they're not. Right. Cause if they don't pay it, someone else will. And that's totally like my mindset. So, it's just, I don't know how you get there. You have to work on your mindset. Like I go over mindset in my videos and stuff like that, but it's all the things like the current client experience, your branding, testimonials, pricing with confidence, and you just have to energetically believe that you're worth it. Right. So, let me give an example. And incrementally, like you have to tell yourself stories, right? Like everything has doubled since COVID. So like it makes sense that you could double your pricing, right? What used to be worthy of $300 is now $600, right? So once you just get over that hump and start to see yourself as worthy of that, you will attract it. Like it's just how it is. You have to believe in yourself and know that you're going to get it. Right. And then once you dive into that market and those people pay you, you will get more and more referrals from them. So for example, like with me, I think I'm pretty much in the upper middle class of, the bar and bat mitzvahs, because there's kind of like the lower like clientele, which would have like the simpler bar bat mitzvahs. And then there's the kind of upper middle class that has like the really fun parties. And then there's like, the New York Mark Zuckerberg 1% that have the really, really fancy parties. Like I'm not there. I would love to be there, but I definitely can operate in the upper middle class. So like, because I price accordingly for that clientele and I'm in there and they're paying my rate, that just shows that I will get more and more and more from their friends and referrals. So, but I've done work on my mindset to believe like I'm worthy of that and I can attract it and it will come to me, right? Like I believe I'm worthy of that dollar amount and I won't go below it. It's kind of like a standard, right? Your worth standard, whatever. So that's kind of how you raise your prices without losing your clients. I mean, the clients that will want to stay with you will pay it. I mean, I think my corporate clients, it's funny, they probably started out with me $200, an hour, and they're up to like, I think $500 or $600 at least. So depending on the client, but, yeah, if they like you, they're going to stick with you. So it's really all just a mindset. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. What are some of the systems that every six-figure photographers, what do they do, right? On a continuous basis? Like an actual photographer out there working and making a living doing this. Some of the things that they do obviously are lead generation. We kind of talked about that. You have to have a reliable way to attract inquiries every month. And I honestly think that once you get down to the niching aspect of it, your whole life will change because it just all becomes easier. I mean, think about like singers, like there's hip hop singers and ballad singers and country singers, like just stay in your niche and keep doing it over and over and over again. And people will see you as that, right? And then they also have a great client experience, right? So it's a repeatable process from inquiry to delivery, consistent over and over and over. So people will say the same things. Like go into my if you go into my website and look at my testimonials, they all say the same thing. Oh my God, Rachel was so fun. She was like, great, felt like a friend. Like it's always consistent, like things over and over and over again. So you have to consistently deliver a great client experience. And then I would say having a really strong money mindset, and just having almost like a system that will keep you from like falling off the horse, and just having consistent habits that are surrounded by goal setting, tracking, and really shifting your abundance to like, always be positive and serving you versus hurting you, because our mind is so powerful that if it'll we got to use it for good versus evil. So I think those things, just always having a lead type generation system, like things that you're doing on a monthly, weekly, daily basis to like keep the leads coming in, and delivering a great client experience and having that really strong, positive mindset and money mentality. I think that is what six-figure photographers consistently across the board would be like. So, let's see. How do you create consistent inquiries instead of relying on random referrals? So, in the beginning of my career, you have to be really intentional with how you set your business up. Like you got to take it like a business. It's got to be something that's not a hobby, and you got to be out there attracting. So in the beginning of my business, the things that I primarily did to get business was I would go to networking events, which I actually really, really loved in the San Francisco Bay Area. We have some really awesome networking events. It's like you basically go to like the fanciest parties, all the vendors are there, and they're kind of engaging with everyone, meeting everyone, and networking, and you get like free food. It's like so awesome. Usually it's free. Sometimes you have to pay a little bit, but it's like it wasn't a huge amount back in the day. And so I would go to networking events, I would meet people, and then I would get on vendor lists from that, right? I would just ask, how do you get on the vendor list? And so I was on a handful of a vendor list. I got in with a handful of people on network. And so they just all knew I was a photographer. So they would refer me anytime someone needed photography. And I would like come up with a plan, like rates or whatever, and spin my wheels. But primarily, like I did that in the beginning, but then I kind of niched into events. So in the niche of events, or like the category of events, I would do weddings. I got introduced to bar and bat mitzvahs, and I would do corporate. Those are my three things that I would do. I realized after a while, I just didn't like weddings. They were really hard. I was always exhausted after them. My feet, like I was young too. Like now I'm like older. So it's like even harder, but I realized they just weren't for me and I didn't like them. And I really enjoyed the bar and bat mitzvahs. So I was like, oh my gosh, I just decided to niche into it. I just started to like, F it. I want to do what I love, and I'm not wasting any time anymore on all other shit. Right. But I had a bunch of clients from, the beginning stages of my career. And what happened is they slowly started tapering off. And if they didn't pay my rate that I wanted, they would just be gone. But a lot of them stayed. So don't negate that time and effort as like lost, right? But when I niched into the bar and bat mitzvahs, basically what happened is my whole life changed, because I had one price rate that I basically worked on like over and over and over, one sales pitch over and over and over. And I got so much business. Like I get inquiries every week. And it's just because I market myself and do things accordingly to that niche, and I talk to them and I serve their need. Right. So that is kind of how you create consistent inquiries instead of like relying on random referrals. Like I really believe it's the niche, but you can do consistent things over and over and over again to like build that up, right? Like I said, I did the networking events, I met the people, I would hang out, meet the people that I vibe with, and then I would get on the vendor list. They're not that easy to get on. And like, obviously there are techniques and ways to do it. But another thing that's really interesting, I heard from another photographer, the transition of planners at venues is transitioning so much that it like makes weddings even harder, which I thought was really interesting. Because I never had that, because the people I stayed with, they were there for a long, long time. Yeah, so that's basically how I would do it. I would niche down and I would just become intentionally visible, have my email list that I always do, networking, collaborate. And I just talk to my dream clients, speak directly to their desires, like I said. And just that will provide a consistent flow of inquiries to you. But you have to be consistent with it. You can't be like willy-nilly. You got to keep doing it over and over and over again. So, yeah, that's how you can get consistent referrals and leads. I mean, I literally, like, I know I talk about it all the time, but I get inquiries every single week. And yes, it is partly because I have had business. I've been in business for like 20 years. And so I have those connections, but I just keep shooting bar and bat mitzvahs. So then clients will keep talking about me and how much they enjoy working with me. All right, let's see. Oh, this is kind of an interesting one. I kind of touched on it, but what's the difference between marketing and posting? Posting is content, marketing is communication, getting to know people. Posting shows like what you can do. Here's what I did. Marketing says, how can I help you? And serve your needs. When your message connects emotionally, not just visually, you turn browsers into buyers. So another thing with marketing on social media, like for me, I just post my bar and bat mitzvahs. So then what happens is all my past clients, when I'm putting it on the stories, because a lot of my clients follow me. I'm horrible about following them, but I try to when they tell me they follow me, but they see it over and over and over again. And then I tag the vendors that I work with. And so when you tag the vendors that you work with, you're getting in front of more people and their audiences. And so you just become known in the niche, right? Which is what I keep telling you guys, like, you got a niche. So we obviously, I have my Photo Mitzvah Maven course, and I go over all of this stuff in there. So I can't obviously fix your business in a day, and tell you everything in these YouTube videos, but the course has it all. So let's see. How do you create offers or packages that people can't say no to? So, I mean, people can always say no to anything, right? But you just have to deliver whatever it is that they're wanting, right? You have to look like the expert. You have to have packages within their budget. And you just have to be the expert, right? That's what it comes down to. I personally create tiered packages. I have 3 different packages, and I don't really focus on like just hours and like prints or digital files. I focus on the value that I give and me as a resource and how it's going to make their life easier, right? Because when you have an event, it can be really stressful and you just have a lot of things to do. And so I want to be that vendor that doesn't give them more basically crap to do. I'm just a super easygoing vendor that gets it done. And so, it's really becoming the expert and sharing that how you can serve them and help them versus just having like an 8-hour package or 6-hour package. Obviously they're going to get what they need, but you are an expert that's going to handle the job and get it done. So the right client will choose you regardless. So that is what I would say there. Let's see. Okay. I like this one too. This is kind of similar to the other question. I just kind of see these things coming up, and I don't know, hopefully you can get value out of it. So what are some daily habits that separate 5-figure photographers from 6-figure photographers? I think honestly, like, there's a combination of things. Like, we're definitely business owners. We're not like in this to like F around and just play photography. We think about it. We visualize what we want and we go after it and we get it done, right? Like I saw myself back 20 years ago as a person that could do photography as a business, and I made it happen. I became, the six-figure photographer I wanted to be to pay my bills, right? And I did that fairly quickly without like help of YouTube. So I think the visualization aspect is a really big deal. I feel like people don't realize they do it every single day. Like we just visualize getting your kid up and on in the car to go to school on time. Like you visualize that, you get up and do it. So I think that six-figure photographers are strategic. They know their numbers. They track them. Like I track my numbers. I know exactly like in the range of what I'm going to make every month and what clients are going to book, what clients are on the fence, what clients I have to follow up with. So I know on average what I'm going to be doing every single month for the year, and it's really good to see that, because then you're like, oh, I'm a little bit behind. I want to up this and, get to this number. Right. So knowing your numbers is a big thing. And then just doing things consistently on a daily basis, like marketing and, using their mindset to serve them versus hurt them. The marketing is a big deal. Like you have to literally wake up every morning and make sure that you let people know that you're open for business. Like when you go to my photography Instagram, which is like primarily like where I market, like I guess not market, like I post, I feel like I market directly to like the people that give me referrals, like venues and planners and DJs and my past clients. Like I actually market to them, but I post on Instagram. And so when I'm posting, I am being strategic in what I want people to see and hire me for, right? And I'm doing it consistently every single week. I've tried to do multiple a week, but it can be hard. But I'm sending out emails every month. And so people are seeing those emails and they're like, oh, Rachel's open for business, right? Like, so you've got to like do things that a CEO would do, and not like somebody that's a hobbyist, right? Like I'm actually like the CEO and founder of my business, and I'm here and open for business because I want to make, X amount of money every single year to pay for all the things I have to pay for. So we're not playing photography. We're actually like a business owner, right? And I have all the things and insurance and, all the different things that people need as a business. So are there any other questions? Because I know I kind of have a hard stop at 30 minutes, but you guys can always send them in, or I can keep talking about things that come up and things that photographers are struggling with. If you want to talk about gear, we can talk about gear, but that is kind of where I'm at, with my business and helping photographers. I love it. And I know it can be challenging, but it's actually really fun to build a business that, where you capture these memories and for a lifetime, and you are part of people's like essentially like their story of life. So I love that about photography, and I always want to keep doing it and having a blast doing it, because I do truly love my job. I feel like it's actually not work at all. It's really fun and creative, and it's cool that I get paid, a good amount of money to support the life that I have and do the things that I want to do. And I'm showing my kid that you can actually love your job versus like corporate America where people hate their jobs. So if you guys have questions, let me know. But I'm probably going to hop off here soon. I will come back and probably do this maybe next week or the next week. If you want to know more about PhotoBiz Academy, I will have all the links down below. And I'm doing my webinar every single Wednesday. If you guys want to know more about specifically bar and bat mitzvahs and the niche and getting into that and making six figures with bar and bat mitzvahs, I am super happy and excited about that to help people. And I think the course is just awesome. And it's a niche that I feel like people really don't like. They don't realize how cool it is and how easy it is compared to weddings and all the other niches. So if that's something that interests you, definitely check out my links down below. I will have links to the webinar to sign up. And if you wanted to get started in PhotoBiz Academy, you totally can. Just click the link to find out more, and we can even schedule a call to see if it would be something that would work for you and your business right now. All right, that's it. Thanks so much for hanging with me. I know there was so many different people that came on and off, but I hope those questions, that you got value out of the questions, the Q&As that came through the last couple weeks for me. And if you have more, always feel free to reach out, DM me, comment on the videos. If you want me to do a video on something in particular, just let me know. I'm happy to help. And until next time, thanks for hanging. Bye.